Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Here my name is Elysa, and with my friend after this is Isna and Winda. Here we want to explain this material. This material is research approaches in education. And my job is explain what is educational research and classify it of that. Okay. Educational research is typically classified into two broad categories. These categories is quantitative and qualitative research. Each approach has its own methodology and terminology. Quantitative research uses objective measurement to gather numeric data. They are used to answer questions or test predetermined hypotheses. It generally requires a well-controlled setting. Qualitative research, in contrast, focuses on understanding social phenomena from the perspective of the human participant in natural setting. It does not begin with formal hypotheses, but it may result in hypotheses as the study unfolds. Quantitative research originates in positivism, a philosophic view formulated in Europe in the 19th century, and that through objective procedure, researchers can discover these principles and apply them to understand human behavior. Positivism is often considered the traditional scientific method, which involves hypothesis testing and objective data gathering to arrive at findings that are systematic, generalizable, and open to replication by other investigation. Different with qualitative research. Qualitative research, which is understand human behavior by focusing on the meanings that events have for the people involved. You must look not only at what people do, but also at how they think and they feel. And you must attempt to understand their reality. The intended result of a quantitative research study is a narrative report so rich and comprehensive that you can understand the social reality experienced by the participants. In today's educational approach highlights the use of the quantitative approach in highly controlled setting, ignore the participant perspective and experiences. Qualitative research was the alternative, but a new methodology in which the same study uses by quantitative and qualitative approaches is called mixed method research. The end result of mixed method research is findings that may be more dependable and provide a more complete explanation of the research problem than either method alone could provide. I want to give study cases. Assume you want to know the impact of a newly instituted dress code in an inner city high school. Depending on exactly what you want to find out, you might choose either a quantitative or a qualitative approach alone or a mixed methods approach. The first is in quantitative study. You could measure subsequent attendance frequency or violence of the code, and or the number of school suspension for failure to comply. And the numerical data will be gathered and analyzed. The second one is in a qualitative study. You might observe. And the last one, combining these approaches in a mixed method study will provide the most complete information on the effect of the dress code. And then we next discuss specific types of research included in the broad categories of quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative research. The first, experimental research. Researchers study variables, which are characteristics that take on different values across people or things. Experimental research involves a study of the effect of the systematic manipulation of one variables on another variables. And the second one is non-experimental research. In non-experimental research, quantitative research, the researchers identifies variables and may look for relationship among them but does not manipulate variable. Major form of non-experimental research are relationship studies including ex post facto and correlational research and survey research. Ex post facto research. Ex post facto research is similar to an experiment, except the researcher does not manipulate the independent variable, which has already occurred in the natural course of event. And then the difference with correlational research. Correlational research is gather data from individuals on two or more variables and then seeks to determine if the variables are related or correlated. Correlation means the extent to which the two variables vary directly, or positive correlation, and inversely or negative correlation. Both ex post facto research and correlational research investigate the relationship between variables. The main difference between the two is that in ex post facto research, one categories participants into at least two groups on one variable and then compares them and another variable. In correlational research, a researcher deals with a single group of individuals who are measured on at least two continuous variables. That's all from me, and then the materials, the next will be explained with my friends. Thank you.
Here I want to explain about qualitative research. Qualitative research attempts to understand phenomena by focus on the total picture rather than breaking down into variables. The aim is a holistic overview and depth of understanding rather than numerical data analysis. There are many types of qualitative research. The first is basic interpretative study. A basic interpretative study provides a target descriptive account for understanding phenomena using data that might be collected in a variety of ways, such as interview, observation, and document review. The second is case study. A case study is a type of ethnographic research study that focuses on a single entity, such as an individual, a group, an organization, or a program. The third is analysis of document or contents. Content analysis focuses on analyzing and interpreting recorded material to learn about human behavior. Their material can be public records, textbook, letters, film, tips, diary, thumbs, report, or other document. And then basic theory. Grounded theory research is designed to develop a theory of social phenomena based on valid data collection in a study. Experience with data generates insights, hypotheses, and questions, which the research pursues with further data collection. And then, narrative question. In narrative inquiry, the research examines the story people tell about their life and compiles a narrative analysis of those stories. And then, phenomenological study. The study of phenomenology begins with the assumption that various realities are rooted in the perspective of the subject. Thus, an experience has a different meaning for each person. Special stage in research. Here, we briefly summarize the steps involved. The first, choose a problem, and then read the literature on the subject. The third is design research. The fourth is collect data. The fifth is analysis the data. Number 6, interpret findings and state conclusion. And the last, report the result.
Practical question. This question is relevant to educational research because it relates to actual problem at the practical level and lead to improvement in the teaching-learning process. Such practical questions are, for example, how effective is peer tutoring in primary school cases? How does teaching children cognitive strategies affect their reading comprehension? Answer to such questions may be of considerable value in helping teachers create practical decisions in the classroom. Basic and applied research. Basic research is research that aims to obtain empirical data used for expand theory. Its main goal is to expand broader knowledge regardless of practical application. Social science discovered that the reinforcement theory generated from the research is of educational application. Applied research aims to solve practical problems right away. This is research done in relation to the actual problem and in the condition under which they appear in practice. Research language. Each discipline requires a specific language for describing and adding observation in that area. Scientists need terms at an empirical level to describe certain explanation. Scientists may use words taken from everyday language, but they often interpret them for them a new and specific meaning unusual in ordinary usage. Or perhaps they introduce new terms that are not part of the colloquial language but were created to meet specific needs. The typical steps in educational research are: number 1, selecting a problem; number 2, review the literature; 3, selecting a research strategy and developing instrument; number 4, collecting, analyzing, interpreting data; and number 5, communicating the findings by reporting the result of the study.